Ladies and gentlemen, mains and mainnet, Shinobi Nation, and the Buster Busters unite. We are here with a very special video. Thanks to Ubisoft, last week I was invited to play an early preview of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now look, man, I'ma try not to exaggerate too much in this video. If y'all know me, y'all know I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed. It's my favorite gaming franchise. But in this video, I'ma be going over my time with the game, showing some of my gameplay, and I'll try to be as honest as I can, man. But when I tell you this game right here, to me, this is something special, bro. It truly feels like the beginning of a new Assassin's Creed era. You remember how AC1 through AC Revelations were very similar, you know what I'm saying? But then AC3 came in and that was so different. After Assassin's Creed Rogue, they introduced Unity and Syndicate, and that was very different. Then they came with Origins through Mirage, and that had a new feel. And now with Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ubisoft once again seems to be taking this franchise to another level. But with that, man, like I said earlier, I will be going over my time with the game, showcasing some new gameplay, talking about the things I was able to discover, and I'll try to give all my honest, true opinions without going too overboard, because I'm a big fan, bro. But with that being said, let's get into it. So I'm going to be breaking this video up into different chapters, starting with the very first thing we were shown in this preview, and that's the Animus Hub. The Animus Hub is going to be our gateway into history. Through this new hub that's going to be introduced first in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we'll be able to quickly dive into the latest Assassin's Creed games. We also will be able to take part in regularly released missions in Assassin's Creed Shadows that will reward us with exclusive items. And we can expand our arsenal of equipment through the new Shadows exchange feature that will be available as soon as the game launches. And if you're someone who is interested in the modern day world of the Assassin's Creed universe, you can head over to the vault and learn more about the modern day stories in the franchise. So as a whole, the Animus Hub seems to be very interesting and will probably grow to be a very important feature going forward with releases of new Assassin's Creed games. I'm looking forward to exploring this hub myself and seeing all that it has to offer. But after learning about the hub, we move directly into the prologue. Now I can't say or show too much about the details and the plots of the story because I don't want to spoil anyone, but I will talk about my overall impression of the beginning of this new AC title. Now first off, and you'll probably hear me say this a lot, but this is a gorgeous video game. To me, I honestly think it's the best looking AC game I've seen, better than Odyssey and Valhalla. And I should mention that this is a work in progress build, so the game will probably look even better at launch. But the quality and cutscenes for a Ubisoft game have definitely improved, especially compared to recent AC games. Although you could argue that AC games like Unity and Syndicate still have better face animations, the level of detail you see in almost everything in Shadows is incredible. But the game starts with a younger Yasuke first meeting Oda Nobunaga. With Oda taking a liking to him, he ends up working under Nobunaga as a samurai. We then are thrown into the action, learning some of the combat basics and experiencing war against shinobi from the perspective of a samurai. And I gotta say, I don't think this is my favorite opening for an Assassin's Creed game, but I was definitely amazed at the presentation for this new entry. I actually recorded myself during one of the cutscenes. You can just tell by my face how excited I was. I mean, just look at that face. But after playing as Yasuke, the game puts you in the shoes of the other playable protagonist, Naoe Fujibayashi, letting you experience a war against samurai from the perspective of a shinobi. And again, I was really impressed with the graphics, face animations, clothes and hair physics, and the overall feel of the game. I can't wait to see how other cutscenes will look as we progress the story, especially since this game is finally getting back into the Creed and having the Templars in the mix once again. But it's now way we learn some of the stealth and parkour bases that this game has to offer, and almost immediately I could tell I would have much more fun playing as Naoe rather than Yasuke, although that thought would change the more I played. But overall, the opening of this game was very intriguing, emotional, and absolutely gorgeous. Seems to set up a story of revenge, vengeance, betrayal, and loyalty in a setting that AC fans have been waiting for years. But that's where my time with the prologue ended. I skipped a lot out to avoid spoilers, but we will experience the full beginning of this journey when the game releases March 20th, 2025. Now we can get into my gameplay, and in this section of the video, I'll be breaking it up to focus on certain aspects of the game like the stealth, combat, parkour, and exploration. We actually reacted to all of the gameplay overview articles that explain most of the new mechanics, but actually playing the game for yourself was a totally different feeling. The overall feeling of the game was something I wasn't expecting. It's definitely an Assassin's Creed game, but the amount of new mechanics is just enough to make it feel like something truly new. So without going into too much detail when it comes to the story, I can say that the structure of the game is very similar to Odyssey and Valhalla, having you follow characters, learning through dialogue, and offering player choice. And with Shadows, the replay value is even greater thanks to the dual protagonists. It's definitely going to be interesting seeing how certain cutscenes and dialogue play differently depending on who you're playing as. I also think it's pretty cool that we're going to have a canon mode for this game, so for players who want to experience the story story as it was intended, you have that option as well. And speaking of cutscenes and dialogue, one thing that this game does better than Odyssey and Valhalla is offer a more cinematic feel to the story, having multiple camera angles instead of the usual back and forth characters have while interacting. Although these type of interactions are still in the game, it seems to be a lot more full cutscenes this time around. I guess a way to describe it would be like having the RPG structure of Odyssey and Valhalla while having a more cinematic and raw feeling like Origins. But there's also a level of simplicity to the game. Similar to Assassin's Creed Mirage and older titles in the franchise, things seem to be way more organized. Gear works much like Mirage, offering only head gear and body gear, but it's still wise to pay attention to what you're wearing, as different gear will also provide different perks. Gear can also be hidden, but as of right now, I'm not sure if we have a transmog system to match our favorite perks with our favorite outfits. A leveling system is something that seems to still be included. Although it doesn't seem as taxing as Origins and Odyssey, I fought many enemies who were a higher level than me, but was still able to defeat them. But I'll have to experience the full game to see exactly how leveling works, as well as if we can upgrade gear. That was honestly another exciting thing I noticed while playing. It made me even more hyped for the game, knowing that there's still so much to discover when it comes to the game mechanics. But now let's talk about the stealth. Stealth has always been a big feature in the Assassin's Creed franchise. The newer RPG games kind of removed stealth in a way, but brought it back with AC Mirage. And I'm happy to say that stealth is not only back in Shadows, but even better than before. I can honestly say that this game's stealth rivals that of AC Unity and Syndicate. It really pays off to be stealthy in this game. While both characters can sneak around, Naoe is definitely the stealth character. She is the only one with eagle vision, and with that already being a huge advantage, she can hide and move around in the shadows way easier compared to Yasuke. I found myself completely ignoring stealth when playing as Yasuke and just rushing in, but as Naoe, it's important to take things slow and really be one with the shadows. Sticking to the rooftops, going prone in tall grass, and hiding underwater, they're all things that you should utilize. The classic whistle is still in the game as well, so that's a plus. Combine that with air assassinations, throwing knives, smoke bombs, and the ability to turn out the lights makes the stealth in this game much more satisfying. And if you're not that big on stealth, choosing the right character for certain missions will definitely be important, because the enemies in this game are not weak. I don't know if I was playing on hard mode or not, but trying to rush in, especially with a character like Naoe, you're pretty much asking to get clapped. And with that being said, let's move on into the combat. Combat was way more fun than I was expecting, also being way more challenging than I expected. Most AC games, you fight and dodge until your enemy is dead, and while that's still the case, trying to rush into a battle, especially when there are more than 2 enemies, is dangerous. Even when using a powerhouse like Yasuke, I actually died a lot playing as Naoe. All the new animations they have for the enemy types is crazy, especially the Shinobi and Ninja, the way they pack around you and move quickly and throw smoke bombs and throwing knives. It really feels like you're getting ganged up on. They leave you no time to breathe, and it's actually kind of refreshing in an Assassin's Creed game, because even if there's a big crowd, I don't think I ever really struggle fighting enemies in any of the AC games before. So you really need to plan ahead of what character you think will be best for certain missions, or you may just have to run away from certain fights that you or that character just can't handle. Your timing needs to be on point when it comes to parrying and dodging. It's also important to understand color cues of certain enemies' attacks, because if you're caught off guard, you could easily be killed before you can even heal yourself. But with the new stance mechanics and all the new abilities, you have way more ways to create combos. Skilled players could probably pull off some very cinematic and satisfying kills when utilizing all the new ways to fight. I honestly wish I had more time with this game so I could dive into the combat even more, but I'll just have to wait until the full game releases. So let's move on to the parkour. Parkour is another staple in Assassin's Creed games, and in my opinion, parkour peaked in AC Unity and Syndicate, but when playing as Naoe in AC Shadows, the parkour is almost just as or even more satisfying. The new animations for parkour down sequences or jumping across ledges are beautiful, and the addition of the grappling hook just opens even more opportunities for parkour. Naoe is also a speedster. Ubisoft definitely didn't lie when they said she's the fastest assassin they created. He's even more noticeable when compared to Yasuke.
I need backup. I'm fat. I can't run very fast.
Because Yasuke is definitely not the character for parkour. I actually unintentionally set myself up by selecting him for a mission that required me to climb a high tower, and it did not end well.
Damn.
When it comes to free roaming, I will almost certainly always play as Naoe. And although I didn't get much time to mess around with different parkour opportunities, in the latest gameplay overview article, we learned that this game will also have hidden parkour trails that I'm really looking forward to. But speaking of exploration, let's talk about the world of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like I mentioned earlier, this game is freaking gorgeous. Probably the most beautiful AC game when it comes to the details and scenery. And with this game taking place in feudal Japan, it just makes it even better. Riding your mount or simply walking around different locations is very pleasing to the eye. But besides graphics, the exploration exploration seems to offer way more than the average Assassin's Creed game. Many people over the years express how the newer AC games are very big but very empty, which is fair, but although I haven't played the full game yet, the world of Assassin's Creed Shadows seems very lived in, offering many activities and different opportunities, like archery practice and painting various animals around the world. And the game doesn't guide you anymore like it used to, so finding these new opportunities on your own makes them even more satisfying. And speaking of the game not guiding you, while the synchronization camera is still in the game, it's just there for show. The map won't be open completely after synchronizing. You have to reach these viewpoints and use the new observe feature to find and tag undiscovered locations. And that observe feature will be your best friend. You'll find yourself using it for almost everything. Simple exploration and also stealth. It allows you to tag enemies, set waypoints, find valuable items, and so on and so forth. It's definitely a crucial element to finding quest objectives. And speaking of finding quest objectives, I was actually kind of overwhelmed and lost without the use of an eagle or simply just having a waypoint leading directly to my objective. Although over time, I quickly became used to it and grew to enjoy the freedom of finding things on my own. And on the plus side, I discovered the scout system. With the scout system, you can send out scouts around the world to help open parts of the map revealing objectives. Scouts will definitely be important when it comes to exploring the world of AC Shadows. You can also refill your scouts at your safe house, which is another neat feature. These safe houses can also refill rations, tools, you can access your stash, and accept contracts. The safe house will serve as a small extension to the bigger hideouts we have in the game. And I actually didn't get to experience hideouts in my preview, but from what I heard, they seem very interesting. But overall, man, Ubisoft seems to be making exploration in Assassin's Creed Shadows the most fun and rewarding out of all the games in the franchise. With the map size being compared to that of Assassin's Creed Origins, thanks to the setting, the world would seem a lot more full rather than empty deserts. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the stealth, combat, parkour, and exploration. There was definitely a lot I didn't get to see, so I'm really looking forward to the full release of this game. But before we end this up, let's talk a little bit about the cons I had with this game. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is a work in progress build, so I won't mention the bugs or glitches I experienced, but there were some little things that stood out to me. One very specific thing was during a cutscene transition. Our protagonist, either Yasuke or Naoe, is seen wearing a different outfit for a particular cutscene, but when switching back to gameplay, we were back in our gear. Now, that might not seem like a big deal, but to me, it is, because I love little details like that in video games. I feel it would be way better and way more immersive to throw us in a battle without our usual gear. But other than that, other problems I encountered could also be counted as personal problems, but while the facial animations have definitely improved, the eyes in the game are so frozen it's kind of scary. Another issue I had was with Yasuke. I think it was a good idea to have Naoe be the more agile, stealthy assassin, and Yasuke being the strong brute, but he's almost too slow at times. And with certain buildings, it should seem easy for him to reach with his height, but he can't, making his gameplay feel less interesting. Although one can say this adds more of a challenge when it comes to getting around, and if that's what you're looking for, then that's good. But to me, it just feels weird to be playing an Assassin's Creed game and not being able to do Assassin's Creed things, like parkour or eagle vision, etc. But on the other hand, Yasuke's combat is extremely fun, almost better than Naoe, and I plan to use her more. And I guess another problem, or it's mainly a worry that I have for this game, I worry about how the game will feel after we beat the main campaign. Exploration in this game seems to be very immersive, but how long will that excitement last before it starts to feel a little boring? These are questions that I have with almost every open world game, and in this case, I won't be able to tell until we actually get the full release. But overall, I can definitely say with almost out of doubt that Assassin's Creed Shadows will be my favorite AC game for a long time. But that was my time with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm extremely thankful to Ubisoft for inviting me to this event, and after playing, I'm even more excited for the game since there's still so much for me to explore. When it comes to Assassin's Creed, especially when you think about the latest games starting from Origins, almost every little thing, down to like mount animations and how they feel when riding them, has been vastly improved. That was probably my biggest takeaway when it comes to my time with this game. It's just how good everything felt, especially for it to be a work in progress build. The full game would probably feel even better. As a longtime fan of this franchise and it being my favorite gaming franchise, I've been here to experience the highs and the lows. But with Assassin's Creed Shadows, I definitely think this will be a new high point in the series, setting up even more interesting stories to tell in future games to come. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna end this up right here. Thanks again to Ubisoft for letting me play this early build of the game. Very excited for the full release. I got to see so much, you know what I'm saying? Did I mention we can pet the dog? There's also butt cheeks if that's what you're into. But overall, man, it was a fun time. Really looking forward to more of the story and how it's gonna wrap up, you know, how Naoe and Yasuke are gonna meet, you know, the conflict between the two, how they end up working together. It's so many answers, you know, I have, and while some were answered during my time with the game, it just opened even more questions that the full game should hopefully answer. But you can let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them as truthfully as possible with the information that I have and with stuff that I'm allowed to say as of right now. But come March 20th of 2025, it's all hands on deck. We going in, we seeing everything, and I can't wait, man. But I'm gonna end this up right here. I hope y'all enjoy. If you did, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell so you know when I'm posting man, share the content, share the channel, do all of that. I'll see y'all in the next one. It's your boy KAGE SMG. Peace.